Hello, I'm Beck. Welcome to my channel. Today I will be drawing a D&D character based on the roll of the dice.
Let's bring out the Tower of Destiny!
Half-Orcs have one parent who is an orc and one parent who is usually human based on the stats. Of course, it could be anything. You could be half-orc, half-elf, or half-orc, half-dwarf. But the traits in the guidebook work on the assumption that you don't have any other magical stuff in your blood. It's just like the orc blood. So your special traits, if you are playing as a half-orc, include dark vision, menacing, which means you gain proficiency in the intimidation skill. Relentless endurance means that if you get knocked to 0 hit points during a fight, you can pop back up at 1 hit point, which allows you to run away or take a healing potion or something. You can only do that once during a long rest, but it is very handy. You have a trait called Savage Attacks. When you score a critical hit with a melee weapon attack, you can roll one of the weapon's damage dice one additional time and add it to the extra damage of the critical hit. And well, in languages you can speak, read and write Common and Orc. So those are the main traits of a half-orc. And if you're looking at the class that I rolled, I added this into the table so that I could do some more dynamic scenes and poses and things like that. NPC stands for non-playable character, which when you're playing a video game makes more sense because there are a lot of characters in video games that you as the player aren't able to be. You can't take over the role of the guy who's standing on the side of the road in Pokemon, and when the Pokemon trainer walks past him goes, "Hey, come and battle me." You can't just be that guy if you're playing Pokemon. You have to walk past the guy and the guy will challenge you to a battle and then you fight and get more experience, and that is the whole point of that NPC for standing on the side of the road. In D&D Beyond, one of the players is the DM, and so they're technically playing, even though they exclusively play the quote-unquote non-playable characters. It's just an easy term to wrap your head around what the DM's characters are all about. It's more that they're kind of easily disposable characters. So you could probably call them that too, but this character is a half-orc and he's got pretty decent stats. So my immediate question when I was drawing this guy is, why is he not an adventurer? Why would he maybe need to employ the help of adventurers to go and do a quest for him? Which is probably how I would introduce this character if he was in my game. He needs a reason to not be doing this himself. He can't just say, hey, go and, well, I guess he could technically say, hey, go do this quest for me and I'll give you some gold. If the adventuring party doesn't really care about the backstory or anything like that, they probably wouldn't question why, although a lot of savvy parties will say, why aren't you doing this quest yourself? Is it maybe a bit harder than you're letting on, or is there something that you're leaving out? In this case, I wanted all the information to be right there and obvious. The reason he's not going on a quest is because he is a father, he has children to look after, he can't be gallivanting around the countryside looking for treasure or gold or whatever it is he needs help from the adventurers to get. He's a good dad. I like to add in backstory when maybe none is necessary, but little details like that, if you're DMing, they help you to play the character, especially because you don't need to fully map out every little detail about every NPC, because a lot of them will only be in your game for like 2 minutes and then you might never see them again. So just having enough to know, like, oh yeah, this is a good guy, so he's pretty honest and he won't lie to the party, or he has this deep secret that he doesn't want anyone to know about, so I might play him as more of a mysterious kind of vibe. But yeah, this guy's pretty upfront. If they decide to fight him, I have those stats ready, and that's one of the other key things of, like, you don't need to fully plan everything, but if the party decides to fight someone who you did not plan on them fighting, it's a little bit awkward to try and pull up their, like, racial abilities and their stats and all that sort of stuff, just like spare of the moment. So it's good to have them in advance, especially for things like, if it's pretty straightforward, it's, you know, the guidebook has all the racial traits listed there, and I think they have default stats if you're having your party fight just a generic half-orc. They'll have them in the monster stats as well. But yeah, this guy, hopefully the party's not about to fight him, but if they do, he has some pretty great abilities in his skills. So he's got the +3 to strength. I felt like I demonstrated where his strength has come from pretty well. Like, in addition to being a half-orc, he's got 3 kids who like to climb on him, and he carries them around, and basically he's doing weight training all day, just lifting children. His dexterity's not that great. He maybe isn't the best at sewing buttons back onto clothes and things like that, but he tries, bless him. We've got the Constitution as +2, so he doesn't get weary that quickly. He's been up some late nights, children crying at all hours and nightmares and all that. He's probably can't remember the last time he got a full night's sleep, but he doesn't mind because he loves his kids. His intelligence is +1, so he has a pretty decent memory as to where Timmy left his left sock or things like that. He remembers stuff. He's good at, he reads to his kids. He's, you know, just these. I feel like I've turned all of these stats into just like, if you're a good parent, you should probably have stats like this just by default. Wisdom. He has pretty much the highest wisdom you can get, unless you get special traits added after the dice roll. So +3 to wisdom. He's very wise. He's seen it all and heard it all, and nothing phases him. So this is really great in terms of, he can read if one of his kids is lying to him. He can also read if one of his kids is having a tough time and maybe needs a little bit of special attention but doesn't actually ask for it. So he's good at reading people. And his charisma is +2, so he's very easy to get along with. He could probably be quite intimidating when he needs to be. So when he tells the kids to go to bed, they mostly will go to bed. I think usually his charisma is on the kinder side of things, so he's much better at just asking for things nicely, and people will comply because they know that he's a good guy and he seems genuine. Yeah, so those are his abilities. What's his name? Let's say Randy. Have I already done a Randy? I don't know, but his name's Randy. I could probably do the kids' names too. Like this one's Jemima. We've got Timmy hanging off the arm, and then Betty in his arm asleep. Great. And let's see, what kind of quest would this guy need an adventuring party for? Like, why would he be in a D&D game? Why would the DM need to introduce this guy? I'm thinking either they've been dealing with his wife in some previous capacity, and maybe they're looking for her and went to her house and found him, or, and this is more of a game hook, like the call to adventure for the adventuring party to go on this quest, he has posted some flyers because his wife is maybe missing. I don't know that I usually go for a family member being missing or that needing help, because it's easier, it makes more sense in my mind than saying like, I need you to go and steal this treasure or find this treasure and I'll pay you in treasure. Like, what does the adventuring party get out of going on a quest to find treasure? Like, what's their incentive to bring the treasure back to this person if the person has money to pay them? So usually it's more a case of like, I have money, I have treasure, I don't need you to get that for me, I need you to get something that matters more to me than treasure. And usually that's someone that they love. And so I think that maybe his wife is an adventurer, maybe a barbarian, maybe like a wizard or something, but she's gone on an adventure and he hasn't heard from her in too long. So he's seeking the help of adventurers to go and find her, and he will provide all the details that he knows of the quest that she had endeavored to go on. And it might not be a lot, or it might be very detailed. It depends on how you want to do it. It could be as simple as like, I don't know the details of the quests that she goes on, but she usually gets set assignments from this place. Like, maybe she's not the standard adventurer, maybe she's more of a mercenary for hire, and she has a boss that the adventuring party then needs to go and talk to, and that would be a different NPC. It's all, you know, it's a world with stories. You populate it with characters that make sense to progress the story. So putting this guy as step one of a long, well, not even necessarily a long quest, but a quest that they need to do some information gathering at the start, and maybe solve a couple of puzzles before they actually go somewhere where they find a huge monster, or the adventuring party that she's been with has been imprisoned, or, you know, you get the idea. We've all seen movies. We all know that it's not as simple as going, oh, I need to find this thing, and there it is. Great. Story over. Yeah, but it helps to have like a nice guy. I hate that the phrase nice guy has been ruined now, but he's a guy who is nice, but more importantly, he is also kind. So anyone can be nice, but to be kind is an important personality trait. So if you're doing something for a kind person who treats you well, you're more likely to try harder and care than someone who's a bit of a dick but is willing to pay you more. Because ultimately, if it's like, oh well, the guy was a total dick and he offered to pay us this much gold, but if his wife is dead, I don't super duper care because he doesn't deserve to be happy and we'll get the gold either way. Yeah. But then if it turns out that the wife is dead and you have to go back and tell this guy, it's like a heartbreaking scene. So you really want her to be alive and well and be able to orchestrate this beautiful family reunion with all the kids and everything. But yeah, sometimes the dice decide what happens and that's how it goes. I don't really know why I did this weird background on there. Like, even while I was doing it, I'm like, why? I wanted to do that sort of backlit, the shadowing where the edges are sort of glowing. I like the look of having the backlit characters, but then trying to give it like a spotlight or I don't really know what that background is supposed to be, but I wanted it contrasts from the skin colors, so the greens and the blues, but I could have made the background like blue or even just black. I don't love the background, but I like the characters, so I guess that's what matters. Let me know what you think of these characters, and if you liked the idea of me drawing more NPCs, sort of characters in these fantasy worlds and what they do when they're not adventuring. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll subscribe if you liked what you saw, and if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. and I will see you next week. Bye!